To welcome Mr. John Matlock from the Arts and Technology School in Kelowna, BC. I'm going to leave it there and just let John tell us his story all about his school, and we'll let you take her away, John. Thanks so much.
Oh, thanks, Jeff. Thanks so much for having me. Yeah, my name is John Matlock. I am the high school liaison for the Center for Arts and Technology here in Kelowna. We're a small arts and technology school. We have maybe 200 students at any given time. And so my job is here to get the word out that we exist, for one thing. And we've been around for about 22 years now. And so it's really great for me I get to go to schools, I get to go to high schools and talk to students about careers in arts and technology and the diploma programs that we have here that will get them to these amazing careers. So, like I said, it's a small school. One of the cool things about this school is that we run on a quarter system. So that means we go to school year round. That really helps us get our grads out and working as fast as possible. So that quarter system also cuts down on the amount of time that if you're coming to Kelowna to live, living expenses are cut down to like 1 year, depending on the program, like 12, 18 months, compared to like a 4-year program at a more traditional college. My background here is I'm a graphic designer. I got involved with the Center for Arts and Technology in the graphic design program. And like all of the instructors here, we're all working pros. So we're all out in the industry, whatever that is. And I'll get into that in a minute. And so we all have this experience in life that we've lived doing these amazing careers, loving it. And now a lot of us are just feeling like we just really, all the instructors love teaching. And that's the great thing about this. And we have really small class sizes. So a typical class size would maybe be about 12 to 15 people in your class. So we find that it's just a great way to connect with the students. You're with these instructors, like I said, for like a year at a time here. And you really develop a bit more of a relationship with them. You get to know them. You're not like 1 in 300 in a lecture hall. You get this real personal connection. One of the other really benefits of our school that I love and that I talk about all the time is the support we have here. Because we're small, we have a great you might want to compare it a bit to a career counselor or a counseling center in a high school, but we have something similar to that. We call it our student services department, and we've got people there. They're sort of like counselors. They're not exactly like that, but they help you with all kinds of stuff, and they help you with professional development. They can help you, if we can maybe help you find a roommate or all kinds of different things. But there's also the mental health support, and we can help you with that kind of stuff as well. And so that support doesn't just stay here, like when you leave and graduate, it doesn't end. We kind of consider it to be like forever. We keep in touch with grads from like 10, 12 years ago. And it's good because it's a bit of a two-way street because those grads, even though, they're maybe connecting with us for whatever reason, they're out working in the industry and they're now our industry connections. So we can sort of get a better idea of trends happening in the industry, potential connections for our students as they graduate, the newer ones. And it's just a great sort of all-inclusive package here, to put it one way. But I really love that sense of community that we have here because we are a small school. I'll talk a bit more about our individual programs here. Like I said, we're an arts and technology based school. So I'm going to do a quick little slideshow here and I'll rip through each of our programs and give you some potential career outcomes and some high points of each of these programs we offer. So just bear with me here while I pull up my slideshow and share my screen. All right. So yes, that's our logo, Center for Arts Technology. So we have our campus it's kind of like not like a traditional campus where it's like an entire piece of real estate with buildings on it. We are in what's called the Landmark District. And in Kelowna, that means there's I think there's 6 or 7 these high rises now. And we are in Landmark 3, which is the one just to the left here on the screen. And on the right, you can see the entranceway. We have another building right across the parking lot. This is called our Sutherland building. This is where we have our film studios, our veterinary health assistant program, our interior design program, and our photography studio. This is the foyer in our main building, sort of our reception area. We have this giant two-story rock that's there's the basement level below this you can't quite see, and it's called the Landmark Monolith. So it's a very large rock that's in our entranceway there. It's pretty cool looking. This is our equipment cage. This is a very quick shot of it. What the deal is here is all of our programs require a lot of expensive equipment. So we don't expect students to have that in their possession or their own stuff. So what we do is we put tons of money into equipment every year, and we loan that equipment out to our students so they're able to complete their projects and work on whatever it is. Right here, this is Jamie. He's putting together a video camera, it looks like. So that leads me into the filmmaking program. So the filmmaking program here it's quite, I guess I like to say it's pretty well rounded in the fact that it covers a lot of different positions within a film crew, but it sets you up to create your own films, whether those be indie style films, documentary films, or just work as a larger part or work as one part of a larger crew yourself. And I don't know what the film industry is like in Saskatchewan, but in BC, it's quite robust and it's growing every year. And so obviously Vancouver is a really big part of that, the Lower Mainland area where they have a lot of productions going on all the time. But more and more, the interior of BC, the Okanagan, is becoming a great place for filming, and it's really sought after. It's not a secret anymore. Like Hollywood people know about it, and so there are a lot of things that come here. But one thing that would help us get even more people here, more studios coming to Kelowna, is having trained people that know what they're doing behind the scenes. So like lighting technicians and location audio people, all that kind of stuff, the things that you're seeing on here. And so these are all great things that these positions you learn how to do in the program, as well as things like video editing, as well as like you could put a whole movie together yourself or with a small team. But we also teach you how to do each of these individual roles too. This is Victor. He's teaching he's the department head. He's teaching some of the students here. We'd get out on locations. This is on Knox Mountain, which is one of the small hills around here. And obviously it's a winter shot. I'm not exactly sure what they're doing in this one, so I'll leave that one. Our next program I want to talk about is our 2D and digital art 2D animation and digital art program. And we have two animation programs, the 2D, which if you think traditional like Snow White, Seven Dwarfs kind of animation, and then three-dimensional animation, a 3D would be like Shrek. And so the 2D animation and digital art program, it really focuses a lot on the ability to create things like you need to have good hand skills. And so it's one of the couple programs that we do require an entrance portfolio to get into, because we have hand drawing classes. We do a lot of like life drawing, caricatures, that kind of thing. And I'm going to show you a bit of that in a sec. But in this program specifically, you need to come in here with the ability to draw really well. And so we can make you better, we can make you faster, but you have to have those core skills to get in here. So yeah, there's different things you can do here from this when you get out of this program. You could be a digital animator. You could do all this character cleanup and prop design. You could be an effects animator. You could all kinds of things within the animation industry. There's a couple of really cool things that I'll chat about in a sec here. Like, okay, first of all, this is Sean. He is our department head for the animation program, both 3D and 2D. And these Cintiq tablets they're working on right here, basically like giant pads of paper that they can draw on, but they're digital. And so, like I was saying, we do a lot of like traditional style drawing so that the students just can continue to hone their skills there. We have this drawing room here where we do a lot of life drawing, bring in models, that kind of thing. And this is another side of that drawing room. This student is working on each sequence for a animation of a flour sack that's going to move around animated in a traditional classical animation style. And we move on to the Cintiq tablets, and there's also the digital illustration part. I don't know if this is actually going to be an illustration or an animation, but it's cute. Here's a couple examples of some student work from over the years. This digital illustration style. These are part of the program is character development. So these are some studies on each of these characters. The students have created characters, and they have to have like a story behind them and different traits, etc. And so that's just part of that. Here's a background used. So this would be an example of what a background animator would do, or a background artist would do in an animation. And so they create these backgrounds where the characters will interact on and be animated in front of that. Well, here's a quick little one. I don't know if you'll get the sound on this, but I'll try.
The plan is kind of changing, so we're just gonna take you with us.
Am I being kidnapped?
No.
Can I leave?
No.
So that's student work. It's what they're doing here is they're using animation rigs to they're given like a voice, and they have to animate to that voice. And so there's two voices here, obviously, the girl and the monkey head. And so that's what they're doing with this one. The three-dimensional is very similar in a lot of respects, because you're still using the Cintiq tablets, but you're working with obviously 3 dimensions. And so there's a few different options here. You can become a 3D character creator, animator, 3D game animator. And incidentally, Kelowna itself actually has 3 big animation studios in town. So a lot of our grads do get to go out and they get a job almost immediately at some of these places. You can go to Vancouver or wherever else you want to do it. But we actually have a pretty good turnover, what's the word? A good rate of hiring out of this program just locally. So here's some more 3-dimensional stuff. You got a bit of a wireframe on the left, and then you've got the skin and all the flesh on top of it. Here's sort of a video game style of animation, 3-dimensional. Again, there's no sound on that one. Okay, so audio engineering and production. That's kind of where I'm sitting right now. You can see I've got like this big cool board behind me. It's my favorite room in the whole building, just because it's like it looks really cool. It's got cool lighting, but it also sounds really unique in here because there is so much sound treatment on the walls. So there's no reverberations within this room. So if you're talking, you don't hear it bouncing off the walls. It sounds like it's coming right from your voice or right from your mouth. Okay, so we got different things you can do with audio engineering program. Within this program, it's kind of unique because some audio engineering programs, they only focus on the recording of the artist or whatever, that sort of part of it. In this program, we really want our students to understand how music works. So all of our students take music theory classes. All of our students take a series of composition classes. So they understand how a song is structured. This helps when they're working with artists in a recording situation, but it also sets them up to do things like soundtracks for video games, or you could write scores for a movie, all these things, because you're learning how to compose music. And we use a program called Ableton for that. And again, that's not all schools that offer a similar program offer that as a part of it. So yeah, you could be a recording engineer. All your favorite artists, they have to get onto a recorded media, however you're listening to it, through your speakers or your headphones or whatever. So a recording engineer is someone who helps set up all the microphones. They do they switch all these dials and stuff in the back, make the sound as good as possible. And then they put it all together and to create all the tracks together to create the song that you listen to on your iPod or your iPhone or whatever it is you're listening to these days. I'm old. So you could also come out of this and you could do music production, like be a music producer. You could be a post-production engineer, like all these different things, a sound designer. A Foley artist. Do you even know what a Foley artist is? It's someone who works on a movie set, or not necessarily on a movie set, but it works on usually for video, for film, TV, and they create sound effects in usually a studio situation. So they would maybe it's hard to get a clean sound of, for example, crunching leaves out in the wild and so people are walking on them because there's noise from cars going by or whatever it is. So they can duplicate that in a studio situation in a controlled environment, and they can get really clean tracks like that. That's what that Foley artist is. Here's our live room, which is actually just next to me here. And this is Chris Holmes. He's the department head. He's just in there playing piano. I'm not sure exactly if they were a part of a project or whatever, but This live room is quite unique because all the walls are slightly different angles. So they're not like just 90-degree angles everywhere. And what this does is it helps the sound waves from bouncing back and forth back and forth into each other. And it sort of disperses them around the room a bit better, and it gives you a cleaner sound. And so another way to improve that, or to take that a step further, isolate them a bit more with these big foam blocks. And that's the room I'm in now. It's our Studio A. We've got 2 audio engineering studios. It's the board behind me. And this is our smaller studio, which is across the hall from me right now. That's our Studio B. And it has 2 little isolation rooms where 2 musicians can play separately, and you get clean separate tracks because they're isolated from one another. So if you have like guitar solo and drums playing, you can get a clean drum track, clean guitar track. Here's the computers they compose music on. So you can see these MIDI keyboards, and they're using Ableton here to create music. Professional photography is another one we've got. So a lot of different options for photographers. The interesting thing about photography is that most photographers are their own boss. A lot of these other professions I'm talking about, they work for a studio or whatever, but photography is something where you really have to get out and hustle yourself. And so generally speaking, you're a photographer or a photographer's assistant, and you're the ones out finding the work. You have a certain, niche in the market that, maybe you're a wedding photographer, that's what you do, or maybe you're a portrait photographer, or you're an action photographer, all that type of thing. So it's a bit more independence, I suppose, is the word I'm looking for. So there are a few things that you can get into within photography. There's a 12-month program here. Like commercial photography, which would include like product photography or fashion photography, that kind of thing. Corporate photography for anyone who needs sort of that sort of style. Fine art photographers, like that's maybe you just really want to express yourself or explore that side of photography. That's another option. All these different things. I know in Kelowna, in the Okanagan itself, event photography and wedding photography is a massive industry. Very stressful industry. It's not for me. This is one of our studios here. Some students working on it. This is a shoot that they did at a local winery here. It's a very unique looking area, and they had sort of the costumes to go along with the style of the architecture and the theme of the winery. A couple more student shots here. Product photography is a big one. And this is one of our really talented grads, Jad Ward. He did this a few years ago. He was here. He's just phenomenal artist. Graphic design. It's sort of how I got into the program or into the school here. So this is actually one of my students for a few years ago. The object was to create a brand identity and packaging. So there's lots of things that we cover here: branding, layout, and design, front-end design. A lot of the work I did as a designer was a front-end developer, so app development and like the front end of a website, so what you see, not so much the behind the scenes, but what you see. We cover things like art foundations, basic HTML, CSS, search engine optimization, Google Analytics, all that stuff, so that our grads from this program can go get hired or even start their own company. Actually, a lot of our grads go on and start their own design companies. A few of them get together and do that, actually. That's not uncommon because our film students do that quite often. They'll get together and they'll create their own little thing. Here's another example of a brand, a corporate identity plus sort of a packaging. This was for a popsicle company that was created by this student, Michael, a few years ago. A tourism poster. Infographics like this timeline used everywhere. We work on all that stuff. Some Photoshop, fun stuff. App development, packaging design. I'm not even going to get into how much I love packaging design, but it's a really cool field. And every time I get a chance to teach it, I jump on it. Interior design. So this is our longest program here. This is 24 months straight. So you get 2 weeks in between each 11-week quarter. But so that'd be kind of like 4 years at a typical college. And so our program here is incredible as far as the quality of it is very high. And the placement of students, I guess not placement, but the hiring rate, 98.2% of our students over the last 5 years out of this program have got a job within 6 months in that industry, and they're like good jobs, really cool jobs. So yeah, not just like an interior designer, you could also become a building code consultant, because that is a large part of what you're learning here. You learn all about drafting and building materials and how to work with blueprints and how to read blueprints and how to create your own. So it's like there's a lot of stuff that goes into becoming an interior designer that you might not think of, because when I actually had to be educated on this myself, it's very different than an interior decorator. There's a lot that goes into the interior design side of things. It's not just like picking colors and fabrics and things like that. It is a lot of knowledge that needs to come in behind this. So you can do all kinds of different things within the industry. A couple student work examples here. So they're using AutoCAD for the drafting side of it, and SketchUp is for the mock-ups, like you see on the left here. Network security and administration. It's our only program that is online only. All the other ones are on campus, and so just the nature of the industry, everyone kind of works remotely anyways for this. So it covers basically anything from setting up a local area network on maybe your local school or things like that, all the way up to enterprise level security and cyber security and information like that. It's not my field. I don't know much about the interior, about the network security, and I can barely use a computer. I can use software. So yeah, we've got things like LAN managers, network engineers, desktop support specialists, all these different careers you can come out of this program and go right into. And this program as well has a very high success rate with our students getting jobs right after work. Some of them actually get jobs while they're still in school. This one's a bit of an outlier, this program, the veterinary hospital assistant, because it's not tech, it's not art. But there was another college in town that shut down a while ago, quite a few years ago now. We've had this program running in our school for at least 10 years. And what it is, a veterinary health hospital assistant it's not a vet tech, and it's not a vet. It's the person, they do a lot of, like, they're the ones that greet you at the counter when you take your dog in to get whatever checked up. They weigh the dog. They may be a part of doing some fecal analysis, urinalysis, that kind of thing. They learn that in our school. It's the only room in our entire school that looks a bit like a medical lab. So all the other ones are quite, I don't know, techie and arty looking. Cool studios and stuff. So you can do all these different things. You learn about animal nutrition. You learn a lot of medical terminology, anatomy, physiology, that kind of stuff. And we have one new program that I don't have much information on yet, so I'm sorry, but if you follow up with me in a few months, I'll have more information. So our acting for film and television, like I was talking about with the film program, we have like quite a robust scene here for this, and we're trying to get more talent in front of the camera as well as behind it. And so again, when studios come to town, they have that talent pool to draw from. This is coming online in October, and it's a 12-month program. That's really all I know about at the moment. I'm sorry. But yeah, so things are going to work on in this one. It's like breathing and acting techniques, improv, breath work, articulation, like body movements, on-set communication, script analysis, characterizations, and all that kind of thing. But hit me up for some more information in a couple months. That's everything I've got to talk about here. If you do want any more information on this stuff, you can find us at all these places here. And yeah, so our digital art school is our digitalartschool.com, which is not listed here. Is our website. And yeah, thank you very much for your time, and thanks for listening to me. And if you have any questions, you can certainly reach out through RDIEC, or you can reach out to us directly through our website. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you, John. I think what really struck me, well, just the smallness and the human element part of it all, but the number of branches or the job opportunities that your school offers from each diploma.
Yeah, there are quite a lot. It's pretty incredible, actually, and I'm learning more about it all the time. Like, I know the graphic design side of things because I was in it for like 23 years or so, but like filmmaking, I'm just learning all these different options that you can go into after this. So it's pretty neat. Yeah, for sure.
It's just amazing. And for the students that will be watching this, you say it's starting to really take off some of the aspects, even
Oh yeah,
right there
well,
in the Kelowna area.
yeah, I mean the animation's been strong for a long time. That program's actually like 20 years old, and that one's always had a good success rate. But the filmmaking is just picking up and picking up with the productions that are coming to the Okanagan or the interior of BC in general. And so it's pretty exciting in that regard.
Okay. For the kids that are watching and are
Mhm.
going to watch this, can they make a fairly good living
Oh
with
yeah,
some of
actually
the
all of these
activities?
things are great livings. Um, the it's really how much you're gonna put into it. It's like anything in life, right? Like you go to Starbucks and you meet like these people with masters working behind the counter serving your coffee. Maybe they chose the wrong education, or I don't know, but but it's what you put into it, right? So if you're putting a lot of time and effort into your education, you have that drive when you get out of school, you are going to be successful. But if you're not willing to put anything into it after school, it's like anywhere you go, you're not going to get much out of it. But there is great opportunity for making good money in all of these professions.
Right. What kind of money are they looking at to enroll? And I know you have different programs,
Yeah,
but
so each
roughly.
program is slightly different. So it depends on the amount of equipment, the length of the program, because some of them are 12 months versus 18 or 24. Um, they I don't have the exact numbers, so I'm not going to give you an exact number
Right.
for any of these ones. They're all on our website, by the way. If you go under the admissions,
Okay.
yeah, under the admissions tab, and I think it's tuition and fees. That's where you can
Okay.
find that stuff. So
Right.
I won't talk too much about that, just because by the time
No.
anyone watches this video, if they watch it later, those will change anyways. So
Right. Yeah.
yeah.
No. No. Very, very good. Mark?
Yeah, I was just going to ask you if you could unshare your screen. I'm wondering if
Oh,
maybe
sure.
Addison might have some questions for you.
Yeah.
Do you want to take advantage of her since she is here? Addison, if you're interested in asking a question, you can take your microphone off and ask away.
I don't have any specific questions, but I will be following up about the acting in film.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could give you my email address, or yeah, I'll do that right now. I'll just say it out, but it's kind of a pain. It's a long one. So it's J Matlock, so JMATLOCK at digitalartschool.com. So it's not, doesn't roll off the tongue, but yeah, it's jmatlock at digitalartschool.com. So you just feel free to send me a message, or if you can't remember that, just go to our website, digitalartschool.com.
Just another question, John, in
Mhm.
terms of you've talked about the tuitions and that sort of thing associated with the school. For those students that are maybe out there considering getting into some of these fields, do you guys carry or do you guys have information about salaries or anything like that in terms of beginning salaries or mid-range or anything?
Yeah, it depends on the industry. So each one is a bit different. And again, like I don't have all those numbers with me. So, but if you contact like our student success department can help you with that. Any questions like that, or actually our program advisors are amazing to talk to. We've got 3 really cool people that are that talk to potential students all the time, and they've got all that information.
Is there peaks and demands to the industry, like various
Yep.
aspects of this? Like
Yeah, for sure. Like for example, the writer strike has kind of put a bit of a damper on film development, animation, everything for the last year or so. But that's all picking up again. So I mean, there are peaks and valleys for sure to some of these. Some of them are more consistent. Like graphic design is, I don't know. I always found it very consistent as far as like the amount of work or demand for it. Again, it really is interior design. I think that's another one that's very consistent. But there are some industries are potentially slightly more volatile at times than others, but it's just it's the sort of the nature of it.
so
I
there,
think
as a graphic designer, John, is there specific things that made you very interested in getting into this particular field and actually, into the Center for Arts and Technology as an instructor?
Yeah, actually, I was asked to come in here one day I had a friend who was teaching here at the photography department, and he asked me to come in and look at the portfolio books that the photography students were putting together. So to create a bit of a nice rhythm to the pages so they didn't all look the same. And basically gives them some tips. By the time I left that day, I had a job offer. So I jumped on, I took it because I always thought about teaching would be fun. And I'm really glad I did because that was about 2016. And yeah, so I've been here since then. And this role is a bit newer for me. I've only been here doing this role since late August. But I love the school a lot. I don't know if it comes across, but I really love being a part of it. And so I wanted to be part of it more full time. Like I said, all our instructors out working in the industry as well as teaching. So I was ready, and it just happened with my life and the kids and everything. It was like, it's time to just switch it up. So now I'm here full time.
So many exciting things, John. And I think another thing that stood out, you said there's so many opportunities now behind the scene that you are creating and on the scenes. So, so many opportunities. It's very, very exciting, and you've done an excellent job. And